welcome back to the Black Flash Boxing channel. We're joined now with Pat after an amazing night of boxing here in Liverpool on the homecoming show. Pat, try and sum up that show for us.
Do you know what? It was a slow uphill climb, but you know, there was fights we had 9 fights on it, as the same usual thing. You know, poor Josh Palladino, he's off the show. Medical reasons, probably won't be able to box again, but you know, hopefully we'll see him here doing some of the commentating for the Black Flash. And there was also, who else was off the show? We had Hakeem Palmer, who had a hand injury. But do you know what? 2 of 7 fights done. Overall, you know, it's always hard when you're coming out your own city to do a show in another town. But we did it. It was a good card. The main event was very good, the 2 girls. It was exciting. It was good. Meshach Spears was very good. Not boxed in 5 years, to see him back in the ring. Again, it was good to see. So, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we had sound problems with the pay-per-view, and that didn't go so good, so I was a bit pretty, you know, because the build-up to that, you know, I was a bit gutted about that, but without again, July the 5th, with Rizard Lewinsky fighting Dexter for the central area, and then we've got Kyle Davis fighting Aaron Bird for the Commonwealth Silver Belt and the EBU Continental. So, you know, we're trying to keep these as interesting as I can. You know, it's sad when we lose a belt and we're trying to win the belts, but it just shows that not everything always goes our way. Hopefully next time around we can win the belt with Rizard winning it and with Kyle Davis winning it, and you know, get something back under the Black Flash banner, and then keep it rolling from there. We've got George Killeen fighting for the Commonwealth Silver Belt on August the 30th again. And you know, it's also good for us also to bring in one of our newest members of staff who's working with Black Flash and welcome him aboard, which is Dan. You know, he's come all the way up from the valleys. He's from Wales, and now he's here in Manchester working with me and the shows and helping us put on great events and matchmaking the shows and making all the fights just as interesting as the fans like to see. Good matchmaker, good person, and knows his job, and bring him in now. Dan?
There you go. Well, Dan, first time having you on the channel. How was this event for you tonight? I know you sat there next to Pat ringside watching it.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic event. You know, as Pat echoed there, you know, we've come out to Manchester. You know, Pat's got shows all over now. You know, Liverpool, Wales, Manchester. Been putting them on for a long, long time, and to come out and put on a show like this, we've had ups and downs with the shows up until obviously the first bell. But once that first bell, from fight 1 to fight 7, you know, they've been fantastic fights, well matched, well fought. You know, the away fighters put on a fantastic show and a fantastic performance for the fans. But also the home fans saw all their fighters perform as well. You know, you had Jenna Pillin making a debut. It didn't go her way, but she'll come back a lot stronger and a lot better from this. You know, a loss in boxing, as long as you take it as a lesson, she'll come back. And women's boxing is a bit slightly different to men's boxing, where, you know, there's a lot more opportunities come their way, and you're only a fight or 2 away from potential big opportunities. So that she'll come back from that. And then obviously we had James Francis. He put on a clinical performance, nice boxing against Carl Sampson. And then Meshach, you know, what a talent! You know, what a talent he is. You know, he's not many people do that to Casey Bradnam, and you know, he was brilliant. You know, Casey's a very, very strong and durable away fighter, but Meshach put on a fantastic performance.
Like you say, it was a very well matched card. You had 2 stoppages tonight. You had also the 3 girls on the show as well. They've all spoke quite highly of what you're doing yourself as a platform, giving these women boxers the opportunity. If it's on the up and Black Flash is on the up with it, along with the pay-per-view Lounges TV, it's only going up from here for Black Flash, and it's great now to have you on board in the team.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I'm delighted to be part of Black Flash now, working alongside Pat, you know, with the vision that he's got, you know, can't wait to stand beside him and you know and deliver that vision together as all of us are as a team. You know, the team is developing lovely. We've got the pay-per-view coming along now with Louchers TV. You know, that's coming on lovely, and that's going to open a lot of opportunities and a lot of avenues for fighters and different things. You know, we've got shows down in Wales, we've got shows in Manchester, we've got shows in Liverpool, and you know, there's a lot more plans in the pipeline that as a team we're going to sit down and put in place ready for next year. So fans need to look out on the socials for a lot of big, exciting announcements that are going to come going forward.
I know, definitely. I know Pat gave a little bit of a tease there with George having a title fight. Exclusive little snippet there for the interview, Pat.
Well, you know what, like I said, look, you know, it's nothing new. He can't just keep fighting. He's going to fight a kid who's undefeated, just like himself, and he's going to get tested one day. So if he's going to get tested now, I'd rather him be tested on my show. He's young, he's up and coming, he's fighting for the youth belt, and I mean, I was talking with someone today, which I won't mention their name, but hopefully is great plans for George, and is another one I'd like to see flying the flag and doing something like his clubmate Niall Brown, which, you know, obviously we all know Niall Brown is, you know, he's done it the same way as Lyndon done it the same way as Zelfers did it, and now Niall's doing it. He's 15-0, non-title fights. He'll be 16-0. It's great to see that he's on the Jack Catchwell bill, July the 5th, and he, you know. Again, he was on another show the other day with, what's he called?
Is it Josh Kelly?
Josh Kelly's fight, yeah. So, you know, it's good to see him out on these kind of big platforms now, and they're getting out there now, especially for Niall Brown. I'm so proud of him to say that, you know, he's finally getting what he wants to fight for the title at the end of the year. And we're just going to keep going on and collecting these belts on the grassroots boxing and, you know, not giving too much away of our fighters and keep them to ourselves and promoting them ourselves.
And I think that's something you say massively. It's there behind you on that banner, but with Black Flash, we don't just show the destination. You need to follow us for the journey, because these lads are going places and these girls are going places. So the team like yourselves now that we're building, it's quite an exciting time to be around Black Flash and boxing.
100%. It's a platform that we want to stay on. It's a platform that we want to keep working. And again, obviously, new people, Dan, you know, so it's like, I just want to keep on the rise with what we're doing and keeping us busy.
Oh, well, it's been a great night down in Liverpool. We'll go again in Manchester, July the 5th, another big night of boxing. Can't wait to watch it happen.
Yeah, no, it's a big night. You know, we've got 2 title fights, as we said, in Manchester. You know, we've got Rizad fighting for the area title. Then you've got a big fight that you've done a small hall show in grassroots boxing in 2 titles in one fight, and 2 great opportunities for Kyle Davis and Aaron Bird, who's fighting for that. And then not only that, we progressed then down to Wales. You know, and one thing I want to say about Black Flash, and obviously I've come on board now to, as I said, to work alongside Pat, but what an opportunity Black Flash are giving Welsh boxing, you know, consistency that hasn't been down in Wales for a long time in grassroots boxing. To have consistent dates where fighters know that they're fighting, they can build that fan base steadily, you know, they can have the right fights, they can develop right, get the right opportunities. And what, as we said, it's about following that journey, as it says behind us, you know, and getting to the correct destination, and then building them in Welsh boxing to titles at the right time.
Yeah. Obviously, I've just seen someone walk through the door. Let's bring in Wayne Smith now.
We're gonna keep moving this.
Keep it moving now,
more people that just keep jumping on this.
Obviously, we can't do this without Wayne Smith, because, you know, as we've come down to Liverpool, obviously Golden Gloves Boxing Gym is actually signed with Black Flash, and to watch one of Wayne's exciting fighters, Mishak Spears, who I love to watch, who I do think is very exciting, very ferocious, and I think, you know, is one that I would back my money and that's going to go all the way, because, you know, he's had a bit of a rocky start, but Wayne will tell you about that himself.
Hello.
You're doing a few of these tonight, aren't you, Wayne?
Do you want me to introduce myself? I think you're... No, as Pat said there about Mishak, he's had 5 years out the ring, but he's a special talent. Has always been since he was a kid. He was knocking kids out at 11 years of age in the schoolway championships. He got the devastating news that he'd never box again 5 years ago. He's a father of 6, and now he's back. Tonight, he's just like, So I just urge people to get behind him because that kid's going all the way to the top. That is raw talent, what you're seeing tonight. 5 years out the ring and you wouldn't think he'd been out the ring a week. Right or wrong?
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
I thought he was going to have a lot of rust on him tonight, and I thought Casey Bradman was a perfect opponent to get the rounds in with. And obviously, we picked it at a weight above. Casey was a lot heavier than him. He come in at 9 stone 9. Casey was about 10-2, and I thought he was just going to get the rounds in with Casey, and then probably after that, and you know, when he gets down to his own weight, then do what he's meant to do. But you know, it's quite phenomenal because I wouldn't, if I was a gambling man, I wouldn't have expected him to stop Casey tonight, because Casey's been in with a lot of good fighters and a lot of good fighters, durable fighters at the 10 stone weight. I mean, like I said, I mean, he's only slightly under that, but you know, he's gonna be a hell of a fighter.
Well, he is a hell of a fighter. He is a hell of a
We've
fighter.
seen that tonight.
But as Pat said, I needed rounds for him tonight. But when he can punch like he can punch,
I think we need to stop saying this now.
Casey, you know what? Casey said.
We're not able to match him.
Casey actually said the first jab he landed, the first jab he landed, he said never been hit like that. And Casey done.
I think we need to.
Casey,
edit it. Casey said it was.
If we're talking about we're gonna match this kid, and even they're gonna be watching this, even everyone's gonna be watching this now. Like, listen, I'll take that back. What it is with me, Shaq, he doesn't hit as hard as what we say. I think it was just Casey. There's a banana skin in the ring.
It was good editing.
No. Like, and obviously, the platform, Black Flash, where you know many champions have come from my gym anyway, Pat's gym. Now Welsh, and it's all over the country. It's been Newcastle, you know, and you know we thank Pat obviously for giving all the boxers the opportunity, and he doesn't get enough credit, Pat, for what he does.
We all do it together.
He doesn't get enough credit for what he does for the small hall shows, because before you're in the big arenas, you're here, and Pat loses so much money on these shows, and I've been by his side for the 11 years he's been running them. It's like he just likes investing in fighters, and he takes them to the top. You know, Nick Ball's fighting on the biggest stage in the world, and he started here. What, did have 14, 15 fights in Black Flash shows, see? So, you know, British champions, Commonwealth champions, world champions, all get made in these Black Flash shows.
That's it. Is
That's
everyone?
a wrap.